Your friends are more expensive than you think. Not because they're secretly stealing your money, not because they're bad people, and not because you should cut everyone out of your life and become some lonely millionaire. It's because your friends quietly decide what feels normal to spend. And once something feels normal, you stop questioning it. Think about it. If everyone around you gets takeout 3 times a week, you don't think, wow, we're spending too much on food. You think, that's just what we do. If your friends all upgrade their phones every year, suddenly your perfectly functional phone feels embarrassing. If everyone is going out every Friday night, staying home starts feeling like you're missing out. And if everyone around you thinks spending $200 on a random night out is completely normal, eventually you stop seeing $200 as a lot of money. That's the trap. Your friends don't have to tell you to spend money. You just start spending it because that's what everyone around you is doing. And here's the scary part. You can have a decent salary, pay your bills on time, and still stay broke for years because your social life keeps pulling your spending upward. You get a raise. Your friends celebrate. You start going to better restaurants. You start ordering more expensive drinks. You start taking nicer trips. You get a better apartment because everyone else is moving into nicer places. Maybe you finance a nicer car. Maybe you start buying clothes that make you look like you belong in the group. And somehow, 6 months later, your salary is higher, but your bank account looks exactly the same. That's lifestyle inflation. And your friends can accelerate it faster than almost anything else. Because people don't just copy what their friends buy. They copy what their friends consider normal. That's a huge difference. Imagine you make $50,000 a year and your closest friends make $100,000. You might start feeling like you're behind. Not because you're actually struggling, but because your reference point changed. Suddenly, a $15 dinner feels cheap. A $40 dinner feels normal. A $100 dinner feels like a special occasion. And a $1,000 weekend trip somehow becomes something you need to budget for. Your income didn't change nearly as much as your definition of normal did. This is why getting richer doesn't automatically make people feel richer. Your brain constantly compares your life to the people around you. And the moment your friends upgrade their lifestyle, your brain can interpret your current lifestyle as a downgrade. That's why someone making $80,000 can feel poor around people making $200,000. And someone making $40,000 can feel rich around people making $25,000. The number in your bank account matters, but the people you compare that number to can completely change how you feel about it. And this isn't just about expensive restaurants or vacations. It's much more subtle than that. Maybe your friends all use delivery apps, so you start ordering delivery. Then someone says, we're going out tonight, so you go. Then someone wants to split an Uber. Then someone wants to grab coffee tomorrow. Then there's a birthday, then a concert, then a weekend trip. None of these purchases are individually catastrophic. That's what makes them dangerous. You're not walking into a store and spending $10,000. You're spending $18 here, $35 there, $70 on Friday, $120 next weekend. And because every purchase has a social justification, you rarely feel guilty about it. You're not wasting money. You're hanging out with your friends. You're not overspending. You're making memories. You're not buying something unnecessary. You're treating yourself. And sometimes those things are completely true. Money is supposed to be used to enjoy your life. The problem starts when enjoying your life requires you to constantly spend money you don't actually have. Because then your friends aren't just influencing your lifestyle. They're influencing your financial future. Here's a simple example. Let's say your social circle convinces you to spend an extra $300 every month. That's $3,600 a year. Over 5 years, that's $18,000. And that's without considering what that money could have become if you had invested it. The scary part isn't the $300. It's the fact that you probably wouldn't even remember what you bought 5 years later. You'd just remember that you were always broke. And this is where people make a huge mistake. They think the solution is finding a better budget. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the problem is the environment. You can build the perfect budget on paper. But if your closest friends constantly invite you into situations that cost money, eventually you're going to break it. Not because you're financially irresponsible, because you're human. You don't want to be the boring friend. You don't want to say no every time. You don't want to be the person who checks the menu and says, that's outside my budget. You don't want to explain why you're skipping the trip, so you spend. And then you promise yourself you'll be more responsible next month. Until next month looks exactly the same. But here's something important. I'm not telling you to ditch your friends. That's ridiculous. Good friends are worth more than money. The goal isn't to find people who never spend. The goal is to stop letting other people's spending determine yours. You can go to dinner without ordering the most expensive thing. You can go out without drinking. You can suggest activities that don't cost $100. You can skip a trip without disappearing from someone's life. And most importantly, you can stop being embarrassed about having financial boundaries. Because here's the weird thing. The people who genuinely care about you usually don't care how much you spend. They're not going to stop being your friend because you don't want to spend $200 tonight. And if someone consistently makes you feel guilty for protecting your money, that's not a financial problem. That's a relationship problem. There's another trap you need to watch for. Your friends can influence what you think you deserve. This one is even more dangerous. Maybe everyone around you has a new car, so you start thinking you deserve one too. Maybe everyone has their own apartment, so living with roommates suddenly feels like failure. Maybe everyone is traveling, so you start believing that staying home means you're wasting your 20s. Maybe everyone is posting expensive dinners and vacations online, so you feel like your life isn't moving forward, and you start spending money to prove to yourself and everyone else that you're doing okay. That's how social pressure turns into financial pressure. You're not buying the car because you need the car. You're buying the feeling that comes with having the car. You're not booking the vacation because you desperately need to travel. You're buying the feeling that your life is exciting. You're not buying the expensive clothes because your old ones stopped working. You're buying the feeling that you're keeping up. And that's why telling someone to just spend less doesn't always work. You have to understand what you're actually buying. Sometimes you're buying status. Sometimes you're buying belonging. Sometimes you're buying approval. And sometimes you're buying an escape from feeling behind. Once you recognize that, spending becomes much easier to control. So here's a simple rule. Before you spend money because of your friends, ask yourself one question. If none of my friends knew I bought this, would I still want it? If the answer is yes, go for it. Enjoy it. You earned your money. But if the answer is no, that's when you should pause. Because you might not actually want the thing. You might just want the reaction. And reactions disappear quickly. The bill doesn't. There's also one more question you should ask yourself. Are the people around me helping me become the person I want to be? Not just financially, in every area. Do your friends encourage you to work harder? Do they support your goals? Do they respect your boundaries? Do they talk about building things, learning things, improving things? Or is every conversation about buying something, going somewhere, complaining about being broke, and then doing the exact same thing next weekend? Your environment doesn't control your life, but it makes certain behaviors easier. If everyone around you is trying to build something, discipline starts feeling normal. If everyone around you is wasting their money, wasting money starts feeling normal too. That's why your circle matters. Not because rich people are automatically better. They're not. And not because you need to become obsessed with money. You don't. It's because humans are social creatures. We imitate. We adapt. We normalize. And eventually, the behavior around us starts feeling like our own idea. So the next time you look at your bank account and wonder where all your money went, don't just look at your spending. Look at your environment. Look at your weekends. Look at the people you spend the most time with. Look at what they consider normal. Because sometimes the reason you're always broke isn't that you're bad with money. It's that you're surrounded by people who make being broke feel normal. And once you realize that, you don't need to abandon your friends. You just need to stop letting their lifestyle become your financial plan. Because your friends might be priceless, but the lifestyle you copy from them can be very, very expensive.